there's actually a lot more to it than you think, coming from an extraterrestrial contactee. What it means for humanity, what it looks like on both a collective and an individual scale, and what the new Earth really entails from a grounded, relatable perspective.
I am so excited to dive into all these topics because what you're seeing in the collective is mirroring what's to come over the next 6 months, which is really intergalactic communication, living, and known information. And you've experienced it firsthand as a contactee.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I saw the announcement come out yesterday from Trump, his tweet that said, I'm going to start releasing the information about UAPs, UFOs, and extraterrestrial disclosure. And it's like everything just dawned on me. Oh my God, it's happening. Like, this is a part of what we're all being prepared for right now, especially with the Epstein files coming out. This is all part of the same story and the same bigger picture.
Yeah.
And it's all leading us to really the best thing for humanity, but it doesn't look that way on the outside.
Yeah, and I want to get your take on this because this
Okay.
is my take on him coming out.
Yeah.
So, literally a week ago, I was like, on the solar eclipse in Aquarius, there are going to be seeds planted that we don't know on the back end around using technology, evolutionary technology, to mass control and manipulate. Okay. And with the astrology in July, I was like, I believe there's going to be a fake alien invasion. You and I, I'm pretty sure I've talked about it on this channel that
Yep.
they're going to stage it. And then a week later, Trump fucking tweets that. And so I'm feeling that while I don't think he has these like great intentions of like, oh, I'm going to help society like get to the next level. I feel like he's trying to create more chaos, but inadvertently, him even naming it, now consciousness is going to rise. So when they try to control something, if they do, we're all going to be like, that's fucking false because we would know it. Does that make sense? And then we'll be able to contact.
It makes perfect sense. And I agree. I think discernment is going to be huge in this because there are going to be so many narratives playing out. It's interesting because what I've learned in my own contact experience is that Trump is actually like a big part of this, and not in the way that people think on both sides. It's like, to your point, I don't think the guy's going home at night thinking, I did it again. I'm raising the collective consciousness. I'm healing humanity. Like, no, I don't think those are thoughts going through his head. But I do know that he is part of this bigger disclosure plan, and it is for the benefit of revealing the truth of all of this. Now, that being said, there are, as you just mentioned, with all the psyops taking place and the misinformation campaigns that are out there, that's all happening simultaneously. So it's coming from governmental institutions, yes, on the left and the right.
Mhm.
This is not supposed to be a political thing anymore. I mean, it never was. But it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds because I can already tell there are so many people out there who are trying to um, I don't want to say take advantage of the information so much as create a narrative surrounding it. I don't think it's coincidence that Steven Spielberg's movie Disclosure Day is coming out in the summer as well, because that's going to implement a certain narrative too with this. And so it's going to be more important than ever for people to use their discernment with what feels true to them and really know how it feels to receive information from your own higher guidance, your own inner guidance, your intuition versus the noise.
Yeah, and that's what I'm wondering though with Trump in the sense of he does have to do with it. And is it my thought on it was COVID in the files came out, right? It was fucking
Mhm.
planned.
It
And
was.
there's a
Yeah.
theory, right, that the shot
Mhm.
was I've seen so many different rhetorics on it, but one person was like, it's to control. Another person was like, to test mass control, but ultimately it didn't work, is from what I'm understanding
Right.
from their plan. So I'm like, ultimately, is Trump a catalyst for disclosure, but his intention isn't actually how it's going to outplay? Does that make sense? It's like, once
It's
again, they're going to try, but it's not going to work because we're all expanding our awareness.
It does make sense. Yeah, it makes sense 100%. And I've learned so much about the COVID vaccine just from the information that I've received because I've gone from like I was on the side of, if you don't get the vaccine, what are you doing?
Right.
And it was very polarizing, as we all know. And now I know more about what it actually was. And I will say from my own experiences and what I've learned about Trump's role in this,
Hmm.
personality aside, intentions aside, I know that his role in this is actually for the, I'll say, the betterment of humanity in terms of disclosure. I'm not talking about the other, all the other stuff that's going on that he's doing. I'm talking specifically about disclosure. He's not part of the psyop that that was taking place, that the narrative going around about
Mm,
Project Blue Moon. He's actually not a part of that.
okay.
And I was really surprised to learn this because it went against my own belief systems and my own framework that I had established for my
Yeah.
thoughts on him and my opinions. And of course, you know, again, we have to kind of, it's all happening all at once. Everything that's going on right now is happening all at once. So it's very overwhelming, and it's hard to separate these parts of it. Like, we're potentially going to war, and what's going, like the ice rates going on, like there's so much happening right now, and so many different narratives being distilled. But what I do know about, and this is where I can speak, is about disclosure and about open contact and what that looks like, what that process looks like. And I just know that he's actually doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing with this.
Which is wild because, like, I know his birth chart
Yeah.
pretty fucking well. And I think that with the South Node going into his first house in July, going over his Pluto, going over his Mars, going over his rising, like, he is going through a reckoning right now, and it's just
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to outplay, but basically, regarding contact with what you and I have been
Yeah.
talking about is this new wave of changing of the guards of leaders and of people creating this new paradigm to be able to actually access it. And
Yeah.
so we should talk about that, like, what is open contact?
Yes.
And what was your experience and how so many of us are being called to be in this new form of leadership for the collective to make it happen?
Oh my God. It's such a brilliant question and such a loaded question because there are so many ways we can take it. Um, Ultimately, open contact is actually so much, it's actually more in our hands than I think we think it is. Because it's about us getting ourselves to the point where we can be open to receiving the information that's coming in, right?
Mm,
And so
mhm.
it's ultimately about consciousness expansion and moving into what the New Age community would call 5D consciousness, which is really, it's fifth density consciousness, not fifth dimensional consciousness. It's, and that's a whole, you know, I know we've talked a lot about densities and dimensions, but that's also universal consciousness, Christ consciousness. And it's the return of humanity's true remembrance of who we are, our own DNA potential, how to activate that, what we're capable of, so that we can now create the future that we were always destined to create. Because we can't do that. We can't create the future that we're meant to create, one built in unity and rooted in love and sovereignty, if we don't fully understand how this entire paradigm has been created to keep us from doing exactly that. And we
Mhm.
and we don't understand the truth of who we are and what our DNA potential actually is and what it allows us to do. And so part of open contact for me in my own personal experience was, when I met my extraterrestrial soul group in Costa Rica physically. I learned the truth of all of this. I was, it was like a full download. I was seeing holographic recordings of everything, of our true history, of the beings, the people who have been here, this entire time, who played an instrumental role in humanity's evolution on Earth. I learned about my own person. On a personal note, you'll learn about your own soul's incarnational journey. I saw where I started in the universe. I saw where I've been, other lifetimes I've had, and I also saw my future in this lifetime, glimpses of it, including my future beyond this lifetime. And the best way I can put this is, it was like experiencing something that I have been waiting to experience my entire life without knowing it. It was like tasting a new flavor, seeing a new color, hearing a new frequency, a new tone, a new pitch, and feeling a new texture all at the same time.
Mhm.
And it left me speechless. It left me unable to integrate the experience. Um, And this is unfortunately a part of what the collective is going through now, and will continue to go through when this information becomes available, when other people start having their own contact experiences, let alone on a collective scale, when we do see firsthand the beings that are coming here to introduce
Yeah.
themselves, and the beings that have always been a part of this, and how they actually look a lot like us for the most part. And I think that's almost going to be one of the most shocking realizations in and of itself, because I think we have it in our heads that humanity is just on earth, like we're the only ones here, but that's just not the case. So anyway, a lot I could say about that. I'll pause there.
Well, I think that your experience, you and I have talked a lot about being able to integrate it into the human body when
Mhm.
your whole consciousness experiences something that the ego has never experienced before and has kept you separate and closed from the programming and the trauma and the belief systems that make our reality.
Yeah.
It's hard to integrate. And this is really what we're seeing going to be happening on a collective scale that you and I've talked about is the existential reality of like, what the fuck is real? And
Yeah.
with a lot of the ancestral trauma, the collective trauma we're actively moving through right now, not just what's in the
Yeah.
files, but I've been thinking about my childhood and the cheer
Yeah.
industry and how many people have been sexually assaulted. Like I have 4 coaches in jail right
Bingo.
now. It's
Wow.
rampant. The collective
Yeah.
trauma and individual that we are all here right now to heal, to be
Mhm.
able to then integrate this. And I think that that's where we're at right now is while this beautiful thing you're talking about is going to happen, to access it, it's going to take so much
Healing.
healing and
That's
programming and getting your
yes.
chi unblocked. And again, not from this life, it's also the ancestral wounds that now we're
Yes.
seeing. Yeah.
Yes, I love that, because it's so true. That's the crux of all of this. I mean, I have so many people who ask, "How do I meet my soul family? How do I have an experience like this?" The answer is going within. It's all, and I know it's not what people want to hear.
Mm,
People want like a quick fix, or they want something outside of a solar flash, right? An event to happen and take place, and that's just not going to happen. It has to start by going within and doing the inner healing work, and exploring your shadows, exploring all the dark parts of yourself that you don't really want to explore. And I also think it's important to note, being able to accept that the reality you have built, or the framework you have built your reality around, is meant to be malleable, because it's if you're so rigid in your beliefs, then you're unable to meet new information when it comes in, and you just reject it. Go ahead.
you're such a Sagittarius. I was gonna say she has a stellium in Sagittarius, and like that's the highest frequency of Sag. Keep going. So I'm just like laughing. I'm like, yeah,
I love
you're your birth chart right now. You're speaking it because not everyone feels that because not everyone has
yeah,
that Sagittarius open-mindedness or Aquarian energy, right?
right.
So there's some people like a lot of Taurus people are like, no, this is it. This is comfort. This is safety. And so it's way harder to maybe accept what you're
Yeah.
saying.
100%. And I love that you can bring in that lens, because we are all here embodying our own unique blueprint, our own design. And I think that's the next step of all of this is, okay, so all this information is coming out, right? Now what do we do with this? Like, how do we move forward? What do we build? And I think it starts, one of the ways it starts is by meeting each other and accepting each other as we are and where we are, for who we are, without trying to change each other. And because we all have our own medicine, we're all a puzzle piece in this greater
Mhm.
puzzle. I mean, and I've had people say, like, I know I want to be a part of this. I don't think my role is very big, but I want to be a part of it. And to that I say, everybody's role is big. And like, if you are here on this planet at this time, my God, more power to you. Your role is big just by being here. And people have different, like, there are, like you said, Taurus energy, right? There's the Taurus energy. There are the people who are meant to kind of hold that frequency, right? Because they're meant to be mirrors for other people. They're where you don't know how you're meant to help
Mm.
somebody else or activate somebody else, right?
I love that. Yes, because I always think about our birth charts as how spirit wanted it's like your own baking recipe and how spirit wanted to bake you for this lifetime, your role. And
Yeah.
we all have different recipes. And to your point, different
Yeah.
positions. Some are going to be in home with families and communities, others are going to be online. Like we were talking the other day about how you really want to travel the world. And
Mhm.
that is a frequency with a stellium and Sagittarius. That is something where you're seeking truth, you're adventuring, you want to live the
Yeah.
true experience. Where there's other people who's like, I want to stay at home with my dog, with my kids, and be so happy on a farm, heavy Cancer, right? Like
Yes.
everyone's going to have that different desire. And when you can understand it and accept your own energy, that's when abundance and alignment and whatever you want to call it in the new age world, manifestation comes into play, because then you're literally living your life, not the programmed deception of society.
100. 100%. And I think that's where it starts. I posted a video yesterday on TikTok, well, and Instagram, talking about how I was talking about the future of the financial industry, and also
Mhm.
like the healthcare industry and psychology, and I was talking about how I've been noticing the clients I've been attracting are people across all industries and backgrounds who are aware that more is going on here and aware of the corruption that exists, and they want to build these new systems, they want to build new structures, they want to be a part of this in a really big way. And I mentioned something about how I said, we have to first come to terms with not all billionaires are bad or evil. Like, it's the ones you hear about the most, but it's actually a lot more common to there are so many more multimillionaires and like low tier billionaires than I think we can even comprehend, that you've never even heard of, who are here literally being awakened, like it is part of their soul blueprint to put the money back into the hands of the people,
Mm.
to invest in because guess what, there are going to be healing centers, there are going to be new businesses, new like women led businesses and infrastructures that are going to need funding, and so there needs to be funds available that are currently in the hands of people who are in integrity and who are a part of this mission and vision to invest in. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
about reframing our entire the whole way that we're seeing this.
I think that's such an important concept, because there's that quote, right? Like, if you're a billionaire, there's no good billionaires. That's the quote. And
Mhm.
to your point, I mean, I do have some opinion of like, if you're a billionaire, like, what the fuck are you doing with your money?
Well,
And
yeah.
what you
It
just
shouldn't be
named
set
is,
up that way in the first place.
yes, but what you just named is like, their time is now to awaken. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense, because all of us have a role, as we already said, and all of us are
Yeah.
going to be on that exact timeline. Even like parents who are texting their kids, like, I am so sorry I didn't listen to you about X or Trump or the files or whatever. It's
Exactly.
like everyone
Yes.
needed that exact, like, whoosh,
Mhm.
to make the plan play out as needed down here. And so it makes sense with the billionaires, certain ones
Totally.
turning on so they can give back their wealth. And in the end, maybe not be a billionaire.
Well, that's the thing I think, is realizing, okay, I money realizing what it is, right? Money is an energetic currency. It's a
Mhm.
current of energy, and I'm meant to be the conduit for this. It's meant to move through me, right? So that I
Mhm.
can do good with it. And
Mhm.
also create it's like me, right, putting myself through this lens of a billionaire or like a multi millionaire, is how do I now help set up a system that ensures that everybody's basic needs are met and that there is no hierarchy? Like, there is no, you can never get to this point of being a billionaire. There shouldn't even be that discrepancy in the first place. But unfortunately, we still exist in that paradigm and the last remnants of it. So now it needs to be changed from the inside out. Who are the people who are capable of creating that change from the inside out? The ones who already have the power and the influence and the wealth,
Yeah.
right? And
Which
so, yeah.
signals literally today, Neptune and Saturn conjuncting in Aries at 0 degrees, which hasn't happened and documented over what, like 6,000 years. So it's like basically the first time in human history that these two planets have come together, which Saturn is structures and
Hmm.
Aries is, and at 0 degrees is the brand new birth of something. And then Neptune on top of it is dreaming a new realm, dreaming up that ability to have Christ consciousness. And so while these,
Gorgeous.
yeah, these planets are so different, they're also merging so that we can build something new, which is happening literally marking today, which is like the burning of the
Bingo.
old to
It's
rebuild, which is a
beautiful.
forest fire, right? Like you need fires to actually help the forest rebuild. And
You
when
do.
yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I think, I think getting into this level of consciousness, to be able to even like speak about this and to see things from this perspective,
Mhm.
means that you need to, how do I say this? Thinking about the people who do already have vast levels of influence, power, and wealth, it's for them to be able to sit there and say, I want to create a better society, and recognizing that they have the power to do so. That's what true power is. It's not the fake royalty, the monarchy that we're watching literally collapse right in front of our eyes. It's not the hierarchy anymore. It's how can I expand this out now? And
Mhm.
understanding that we're moving toward an abundance paradigm. That's what I really call like 5D Earth or New Earth. It's the paradigm of abundance, which is synonymous with wealth and health. And so it's like it's healthcare, and it's healing centers versus hospitals. It's how do we support the feminine energy too, which I think is
Mhm.
kind of a door opener to another segment of the conversation. But that's what we're moving toward, is how to support this balance of energy.
And I think when people hear abundance, they think $1 million. And it's like, no, it's literally living in your sovereignty with exactly
Exactly.
what you need so nature can provide for you, because we're coming out of the hierarchical hoarding scarcity where it's balanced. So
Exactly.
it's not a million bajillion dollars. It's what you exactly need to do exactly what you desire and do it. Like
Hmm.
that's what's so cool
Yes.
about this new paradigm of true
It's the
equilibrium
trust.
getting here.
100%. I that's what I said that's in my video yesterday. It's a paradigm that's built on trust and unity, because
Girl.
like we can't. It's the people who have all that money that want to hoard it. That like that's the problem. That's the old paradigm. But the ones who understand, and it's not just money, right? It's influence, it's
Yeah.
power. The
Yeah.
ones who understand, I'm not scared of losing this by giving more of it, because I understand how abundance actually works. That's the mentality that we're moving into across the board.
Across the board. It's so funny that you post videos because I literally just posted a video yesterday or 2 days ago about this because Uranus is leaving Taurus, which is around disrupting your comfort, disrupting the fear of losing all the material because you're gonna be okay in the highest vibration of
Yeah.
abundance. So,
Oh, I
and
love
then I
that. I love that.
said on the solar eclipse, Uranus station direct a few days before that, but Venus was conjunct the North Node in Pisces, which is all about trust. So I was like, so you have to trust this. And then you just said it. I'm like, this is so our channels. I'm a Aquarius sun and you're Aquarius moon. I feel like are literally channeling the same energy from different
Yeah.
lenses. It's fucking crazy. And I know we're
It's
not alone.
amazing. No, and that's Lauren and I were just talking about this before we hopped on our live. It's about what this new paradigm looks like, what the new earth actually looks like. It's people who are starting to trust the higher guidance that they're receiving, their inner guidance, their intuition, because they can now discern that from the noise. And when they follow that, they realize that they open up doors for other people, and doors open up for them. And the right opportunities start coming in, the right people start coming in, and we just start experiencing synchronicity after synchronicity after synchronicity. Like I'm going to tell the example that I just gave you
Yeah.
about the audio. So I'm currently building out a community-based platform. I'm super excited about it. I'm going to be offering courses and workshops, but it's a little overwhelming because it's new for me, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to do it. And I didn't know how to do audio courses. So I was making a note before a client session yesterday, and I was just saying, okay, something to circle back to. I need to figure out what software to use, how to do this. And I go into my client session, and then I come out of the session and I get an email from a client I had the day before, and he just said, I don't know why I feel like I need to tell you this, and we had actually just worked with him on discerning inner guidance from like the ego, from intrusive thoughts. And he was like, but I feel like I need to tell you, if you ever need help figuring out audio software or figuring out anything, if you're recording podcasts or courses or an audiobook, I was an audio engineer for 20 years, and I can point you in the right direction if you need that. He and I never once talked about this in our session.
Mhm.
This was just him following like the nudge to reach out to me. And the fact that I was just thinking about this not an hour before he sent that email, like that's what we're moving toward. This is how we're meant to be helping each other. A rising tide lifts all ships. That's
I
the name of
keep
the game.
thinking about how you're saying that because it's so true, and we as practitioners need to really lean on one another with that in that sense of
Yes.
back to what you were saying earlier to loop it all around is like everyone has a role, whether you're a video editor, a sound engineer, or a healer. Like, we all need to rely on one another to make the web of the new system to be able to
Yeah.
lift and amplify everyone's voice to live in that abundance. And as you have also had, so many of my clients are coming to me who have been scientists and engineers and
Mhm.
all these things, be like, I know I'm meant for more. What is it? And they're like looking for
Yeah.
their birth chart to understand, how do I weave everything I've experienced with the pole to heal and all the things. So it is that moment that we're like clocking in and we're realizing, okay, I needed the journey of being a former Wall Street exec to be able to now integrate all that wisdom with my healing gifts to create this new
Yes.
paradigm. It's truly happening. And like Ali said, on
It
a
is.
very fast rate. It's like,
It is. Yes, Allie, love that. It's so, and it's so true. It's we are the bridge. We're walking the bridge right now and we're helping each other walk it as we go. And I
mhm,
think that's, and what another thing that you and I were just talking about before we hopped on was like, I want my clients to know about you. You want your clients to know about me. Like, we have different medicine that
yeah,
we can offer, and you never know how someone's going to resonate with you. Like, for example, you're giving them their birth chart information that's going to help weave together all of these incredible dots that are now connecting for them. Then they can have a conversation with me, for example, about like channeling through like the icing on the cake for that, how that's going to look for them, or what the opportunity is going to be. So this is how we work together in this way to figure out, how do we calibrate ourselves to that next level? How do we cross the bridge? How, like, what, and how do we help each other do it? Because we're not meant to do it alone.
no, and we can't. And I just posted a video today of like, Marston and I have been meeting with clients for years. Like, it's an energetic experience. It's exhausting. It is tiring because you are channeling
Yeah.
energy constantly, whether it's astrology, it's psychic mediumship, it doesn't matter what. If you're a healer, you're channeling with their higher self. Your higher self are connecting to the
Yes.
other person's higher self.
Always.
And
Hmm.
it's so tiring that there's not enough of us right now to be able to hold the
No.
shadow, the trauma that we need to be transmuting. And so it's like, not only do we need to be supporting one another, we also need to be protecting one another and helping each
Yes.
person get to the person they need, right? Like, I'm a trained mental health therapist. I'm working on nervous system activation, healing that trauma. I know other people who are going to do that through yoga and maybe they want that. Like, it's so different
Yeah.
for every channel and it's helping connect those resources truly.
It is, and I that's actually how I envision the quote unquote new Earth looking. It's like a global grid, like a mycelium network underground, just constantly feeding itself and connecting, and that's how I see. Like, there's someone I talked to. I had a client who was going through like a really, her guides came through very clearly showing like deep womb healing taking place, and she
Mhm.
had there was she had a lot, like a lot of people do, a lot of repressed sexual trauma, and it's generational. And so we did a lot of work with that timeline work, and not to get into that, but I immediately, what came through for me is something to tell her was a practitioner that I know of who actually specializes in like sacred sexuality and womb space healing. And she has
Mhm.
her own way of doing it that's just like channeled through her, and that's her specialty. And I'm
Does make
like,
sense.
I know, right? That's what this is about is, huh, okay. Oh, I just got chills too. This is clearly so meant to be happening right now. How can I help you get the healing that you need? And how can I help the healing practitioners get the aligned clients that they need? But really, it's so much more than clients. It's just being able to share our gifts in the way that need to be shared, the medicine that needs to be shared.
Ali said, Marston, your website will be the hub, which is so funny because my husband and I have built a landing page that said the healing hub. Because my
I love that.
vision a year ago, when I was like, oh, I'm going to build out practitioners who are human design experts, who are astrologers, who are psychics, to help
Yes.
teach different modalities to these people. Because honestly, I'm in debt. Not, I think, honestly, I think debt and student loans are going to be fucking wiped soon, but that's just my
Yes.
prediction. Anyways,
Yes.
I went to school. I'm in so
I
much debt
agree.
to be a therapist. And it's like, I think there's so many benefits to that because truly I learned boundaries and ethics and how to really work with the human ego from, a psychological lens. But you also don't need to spend that. You don't need to spend 2 years. We need people who can share this wisdom in a central place. And so it's just really funny because I think there's so many of us who are like, let's get voices out and connect with the
Yes.
lens of how to help people. Like, truly, it's just about
A
helping
hundred
and
percent.
really processing
That's what
ultimately.
it is. I mean, we're all building these hubs and networks. I can't
I
even
know.
tell you how
So
many
funny.
people have been getting the same downloads about like, okay, I'm gonna, it's but and that's what I keep saying is like I'm building a community. We're all building communities so that our communities can help each other. It's not like a gatekeeping thing. It's not a competition leaves the room like in this new paradigm. It's it really it's
In the new
about like
paradigm, but there's
in the
gonna
new
be that present.
yeah, the shadow. Yes.
The shadow. It's gonna be there. It's gonna be there.
It's gonna be there. But the thing is, in this new what we're moving toward is there's not gonna be another option. Like the people who are taking their like we all have specific roles to play in this. And
Mhm.
it's really like what's gonna happen is gonna happen. And the opportunities are gonna come the way that they're meant to come. And
Yep.
there will be so many of these communities that are built. And ultimately it's your blueprint is your blueprint.
Your healing center, like you're saying, there's gonna be
Yeah.
a ton. Which
Yes.
I do think though the shadow is so fucking real because Aries is so competitive and it's very self-centered.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that is where heavy energy is right now, in addition to scarcity, right? So that's why healing right now is so important as we have a few more months with Uranus and Taurus around deprogramming scarcity, because the only reason you compete is because you don't believe there's enough for you. It's all
That's
rooted
exactly
in
it.
that scarcity mindset. And so you're going to see
Yeah.
practitioners right now being like, oh my God, especially as more and more people come out. But it's like,
Uh-huh.
you're going to find the people you need.
Always. Always. And I think and I think that's the beautiful thing about being able to witness the shadow, like the shadow of the collective, but the shadow within ourselves. And it's like
Mhm.
we can have the same idea. We can even have the same name for our community. And it's gonna be a completely different entity. It just is. It's like it doesn't matter because it's all coming from the same place.
Well, and it's just crazy because I remember we hadn't fully caught up in months, which we can talk to as well. We haven't really even talked about that, but we're back.
Yeah,
And
we're back.
you were like, "Yeah, I'm building out this bubble community." And I was like, "Literally, my husband and I want to start an app doing this same fucking thing." And it's
Hmm.
just crazy that you and I haven't talked about it, but like we literally are in our own ecosystems. And it makes me think about how I'm moving to Bend, Oregon. And I'm like, I just feel like there's a community there that like it's gonna get
Yes.
tapped in, and wherever you end up, like we're all getting pulled. A lot of people are moving, a lot of people needing new
Hmm.
energy to like meet the people you need to meet to make it a reality.
That's exactly it. It's the 100%. We are meeting the people that we need to meet. And it's so funny because like when I was shown this in my physical contact experience in Costa Rica, I saw it. I saw the glimpse of what I'm going to be doing. I felt what it feels like. I saw certain glimpses of even like family life. Like it was wild how much I was shown. Um and I thought it was all like now. And I was like, we have to go now. We have to do this now. And it's like it doesn't all happen right at once. Like, and I think that's the other part of this is with this fast energy ramping up, it's not meant to all happen at once. Like we need to take just the step, be where our feet are. That's what my guides keep telling me. Cause they're like, you have the higher vision, you know what's happening here.
Yeah.
But you don't know all the steps that are going to get you there. And we're not even going to give them to you because you're going to know when you're supposed to know. So be where
Mhm.
your feet are right now, which is so frustrating because I love having all the steps mapped out. But it's like it's downloads even like I was started getting these downloads about people coming together from all these different industries and backgrounds to create a bigger network. And I posted a TikTok on it that I actually had pinned in July of like last summer where I was like sharing, I started getting these downloads. I got those before I knew what downloads were when I was still in my Wall Street career. And I just started exploring breath work and I didn't know about New Earth. I had never
Mhm.
heard that term. Spirituality was a new thing for me. So, but all I knew was I just kept getting, I was looking back at my journal entries and it was like people from different industries coming together, question mark. And it's so wild to say, like, okay, little did I know how much would transpire in my own life that would lead me to the point right now where you and I are even having this conversation.
100%. It's crazy. And I think it does have to go slow, because if not, what our nervous system will blow. Because like
Yeah.
you're saying, that integration of, "Oh my god, this is possible," is
Yeah.
really hard to accept, and if we
Hmm.
go too fast, people won't be able to integrate it, and so it's just really interesting that, like, even though we're all connected and everything's divinely timed, there's going to be the shadow of the impulse and the control and needing it now. And so just reminding
Totally.
ourselves, the year of the fire horse. I'm not a Chinese astrologer. I'm not trying to like cultural appropriation it. Literally from a medical Chinese
Yeah.
doctor said, like, there is no water in the sky. Fire scorches. Go slow. Listen to what a horse does. It's instinctual. It's not impulsive. And I'm like, that is so true. Aries is around our instinct, knowing when instead of jumping in. This is the shadow. So I think that we can use this energy in such a beautiful way to birth something when we're doing it
Yeah.
in a very methodical way, which is what Saturn's about. So building something that will sustain, not crumble at the end of it.
100%. And that's the reminder. I always need to give myself this reminder because I'll get a download, I'll get a channel so clearly and I'll get so excited and I'm like, let's go. How do I do this tomorrow? And it's like, no, Marston, like this could be a year from now or how like 6 months from now. But that's what I've had to learn. And I've had to learn the hard way. Like
Mhm.
it's not everything's meant to be acted on right away. So I love that you just wove in um how it's always nice to know that we're just being cosmically and astrologically supported, right? Like I think that's a huge part of this is like how do we work with the energies and not like swim upstream.
Exactly, because it's like, while the astrology is not gonna save us, like, we can't put our power in, "Okay, Neptune's
No.
in Aries, perfect, we're all gonna manifest our dreams." Like, that's not how it works. As you
No.
said earlier, no one's saving us, but we can then use it and be reminded of it so that we're
Uh-huh.
conscious of what we need to be focusing on, and that's what I use it as. It's just a mirror to know what's present, but also to know what's in my shadows, and to understand that collectively, yeah, shit's gonna get dark. Shit is coming out right now. We see it astrologically, so it's not wrong, it's not bad, it's exactly what needs to be happening to keep the trust, to keep the line, to keep the going, so the humanness and despair and depression don't overtake us, is really why I love astrology.
Yeah.
It's just my channel, it's my language to channel spirit.
100%. I mean, it's your medicine. That's
Mhm.
how it's meant to come through you. That's your own unique lens. And I think that's like that's and again, that's people need that. Like I have a client right now I'm working with who's become a good friend of mine and she was like, I'm feeling like her business is really taking off and she does a lot of nervous system work and she's like, and I've helped her in our work together. The work that we do is my helping her calibrate her nervous system to holding higher levels of visibility and wealth because that's what she's starting to see and she's a healer, she's part of this and it's
Yeah.
happening. And she was, oh my gosh, wait, why did I just lose my entire train of thought? um that is so weird. What were you just saying before I was talking about her?
Our own unique medicine,
Yes.
and that people need that to hear that.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Yes. Okay. And I was talking about you specifically and she was like, I want to learn more about astrology. I'm starting to feel a pull to like using it in my business and like taking a course on it and maybe even offering a course on it. And I'm like, yeah, pull that thread. Like this is the crux of it all. It's also not meant to be like this is where I also see the new paradigm going is it's not so much even like box here like astrologer
Yeah.
psychic medium, right? What we were talking about at the beginning is like how do we don't like putting ourselves in these boxes and labels. We can't identify ourselves the way that people want us to because it's all the things and I think that's what we're moving more toward.
We're just channels.
Yeah,
That's
we're just
really what we
channels.
are. We're channels for spirit to flow through and us heal. And,
Yes.
I think Ali said it. Yes, I'm a and that to your point, yes, I'm a therapist. I'm trained. I don't take insurance because there's ethical issues with the work I do. So I only do coaching. But you can check out my website, lunarchild.com. And so yeah, I weave, to your point, so many different modalities as you do too, that it's really hard to know exactly how to identify. And I think that's, ooh, I just got to ping because we keep seeing that the old ways of marketing, the ways that we have been pushed to do, are not going to be working anymore. It's
Yeah.
they're just not, because they're tied to the old paradigm, and the old paradigm is
Mhm.
falling. And so
Mhm.
these identities, these boxes, these how you used to tag yourself, I don't think it's going to work, because people are looking for more, I don't know, energy work than titles. Like, what's someone's energy? Are they actually practicing what they're preaching? That's a
Yeah.
huge Neptune and Aries thing. There's so much false leaders who are not doing any nervous system regulation,
No.
but they're like, let me heal you. It's like you're doing
Yeah.
it for money. You're not doing it because you care. And I think that's that wealth conscious shift as well, is the people who
Mhm.
are rooted in the actual values are going to
Yep.
find success in the next paradigm where the other people are going to fall. Whether they're literally like
100.
Deep Rock, Jay Shetty, all the big ones, or just, in general, just not practicing what they preach.
I think that's such an important point, because that's exactly what we're gonna see happen. I think what we already are, because
Yeah.
it's less about how you advertise yourself or like what you call yourself, and more about like what it's like to actually be in your energy, what it's like to actually feel your resonance or lack thereof,
Hmm.
um, and how do you do it? How do you channel through what your medicine is? I know I keep saying medicine, but that's how my therapist and I use this terminology all the time. I just
Yeah.
love it because it's true. We all need healing. Like that's at the end of the day, that's what's happening here is deep systemic healing. And
Which
so there
to
it's
loop your
medicine.
birth yeah, to loop your birth chart in, you have Chiron, which in astrology is the wound we hold that we're here to heal because that's our medicine on her rising. So your Chiron being in the first house, this is what you embody is like, yes, you had to go do this deep healing work, but it's in Virgo. Virgo is the pure channel. And so you keep using that term because that's how you're meant to approach life. That's how you're meant to respond to things. And so you're just embodying
Yeah.
your own words and your own energy. And that's how people are going to connect to you.
I love that. It's like the more that I experience in life, the more that I realize how layered and intricate the birth chart is and human design. Like when I first learned about human design, which
Yep.
incorporates astrology, I I was like, whoa, I feel so seen in a way that I've never felt before. And this was like the I call human design my gateway drug. It was like what opened everything,
Totally.
but it's also what gave me permission to move forward on my path. It was like that validation that I needed. And the more experience I have, the more I step into who I really am, the more I realize, oh my gosh, there's so much more here. Like when I talk to you about my birth chart, it's like I never saw it that way before.
Yeah.
It's like it's the same information. It's like the movie doesn't change, but you do. So your perception of the movie changes.
100%. And 100%. You can look at your chart 100 different times and you will always see something new because your consciousness is expanding. So you're going to interpret it. It's just a mirror. And I also call astrology the gateway to spiritual awakening. Like, if you're
Yeah.
actually using astrology in the way it's intended as an oracle, then you will open up your spiritual practice because you're realizing, holy shit, I'm an energetic being. When you're using it to escape and bypass, of course, it's not like that. But when you're really using
Yeah.
human design and the tools
As a tool.
as
Yeah.
tools, yeah, like
Mhm.
you open up because you're like, this is who I am, and you start embodying it, and you start trusting yourself,
Yeah.
and it's fun. Then transits are always happening. So Marston has a lunar eclipse on March 3rd in her first house of the self, and the Pisces Virgo axis has been having eclipses here. And this is the final Virgo eclipse. And since that started is when Marston first was contacted, and everything kickstarted from there. And so it's just, you can look at your chart and then you start weaving the transits and the timing, which then activates certain parts like your Chiron. So it's been 2 years of you healing your physical body, your physical wounds from this life and past lives, so that now, as that cycle loops, you can give the medicine because you have
Yeah.
done the work. Which, holy fuck, I'm thinking about I have so many goosebumps.
I love this. Go. Go, girl.
Your contact experience happened
Yeah.
when we were having eclipse season around in September this past year
Yeah.
with Pisces.
Mhm.
And something that happened to you was you interconnected to things beyond this realm, which is what Pisces rules, and it's your descendant. However, to integrate it back into your physical body, which is Virgo, the temple that holds the spirit, Pisces is the spirit, it was really hard. And
Mhm.
you had to have that time to ground into the physical body to now be able to speak your Chiron and Virgo about it. And that's what this lunar eclipse is marking. It's like you've grounded and you've now
Ugh.
had it. So now that you can give it. That's why I'm like, oh my God, it's so
Well,
cool.
and Lauren, I'm so glad you brought that up because I think that's a really important point to make. I'll share more about this story.
Yeah.
I thought I was supposed to be on a different timeline. Like when this all happened, I was like, I'm not supposed to be here anymore. I'm not supposed to be doing, like, I thought I was literally moving back to the ship that I got to go on, that I like witnessed come in, that other people around me witnessed. Like these were physical ships. This wasn't just something, in my consciousness. Although it is, everything is in our consciousness. But anyway, physical eyes, right? So I'm thinking, oh, I'm seeing, like, they're showing me I'm here to speak the truth of this. I'm here to like literally be a conduit of truth about our history and where we're going and who we are and how to activate our potential. And I thought I was going to be doing that using quantum technology that I saw on the ships. And I was like, oh, I'm moving back to the ship. Like it was so, and I know, saying it
When
out
you said
loud.
you were like, no, when you were like, "Peace out, motherfuckers," you said something to me
Yes.
when you started talking, and I
I
died.
was like looking back, being like, I was literally was like, I'm going back to the ship. Bye, losers. Good luck on this dumpster fire of a planet. I'll see you later. Like, and then for me to be like, 2 weeks later, I'm going to Trader Joe's, and I'm like, damn it. Like, what a humbling experience for me on so many levels. But I needed it because I could not, I was so in it. And I was like, I'm not supposed to be on this timeline anymore. Like, something's
Mhm.
wrong. Something got messed up, and something got delayed. And so I was going through all of this like grief. And it was really like, I mean, it was worse. It was deeper grief in certain ways than I experienced when my former boyfriend died. And what I went through with that, like this was like soul level. I missed my mission somehow. Like that was the grief that I was
Mm.
experiencing. And it was super dark. And I needed to have that time to ground into it, because now, Lauren, what you just said, I can now see more clearly, a lot more clearly. Oh, that actually was a part of the plan the whole fucking
The whole time.
time.
Mhm.
Like it's actually right on cue. And here I was like trying to control everything, thinking I messed up. Like they gave the assignment to someone else, and that's literally what I was going through. And I couldn't tell that to anyone because like who would understand that? Very few people have ever even had a physical contact experience like that. Very few people have had like a kundalini activation take place, and then they meet their soul group like physically.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's like it's so it was
Yeah.
really really difficult, and so it's really helpful to be able to have tools like this.
100%. And I think when you came back and told me what happened, like I was not there. And I was like,
Yeah.
"What? Wait, what? What are you
And
talking
I was
about?"
talking to you, I was like, oh yes, she'll get this. And I'm just like, yeah, anyway, so then this happened and this is what I know. And Lauren's like, whoa.
Whoa, because my consciousness wasn't there yet. And I understood, what is it? What's the religion? Oh, not religion. What's the text? The prison planet text.
Gnos-
Use the
the what text? The Gnostic text or the
cannot, yes.
Gnosis? Yeah.
Is that okay?
It's not
Gnosis.
Gnosticism, Gnosis. Yeah.
Okay, Gnosticism. I understood. I probably said that wrong. I understood the concept of the prison planet and aliens and reptilians and blah blah blah, blah, right? We could. That's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
But to then hear it and Marston being like, "I'm going away. Blah 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 blah. We'll meet again." I was like, I can't comprehend this
Yeah.
in my physical body, and what I was going through personally. It was a very dark time as well on like an individual level. So
Yeah.
what happened was I was like, "We'll talk soon. I gotta take space,"
Yeah.
and processed, but it sent me down researching around plant medicine and spiritual psychosis, which a lot of people get wrong. It's not,
Mhm.
you're not imagining it. It's real. You just can't close up your psychic
You
gifts in a
can't
way.
ground it. Yeah.
Yes, in the
But
physical.
it's electrical circuitry.
Yeah, you were just blasted.
Or it's a
And
short circuit. Yeah.
I was thinking about when you and I reconnected, because I saw her on TikTok and I was like, "Oh, she's back." Like, you could hear it in your voice, you
Yeah.
could see it in your videos. I was like, "Oh, she's back." So I reached out and we reconnected and you were talking to me about it and I was like, "While you felt like that might have been delayed," I was like, "What you went through rippled," because so many of
Yeah.
us got to witness, even though it was hard, your active learning of what this
Yeah.
is. Now you can go talk about it. I can talk about it of how do we actually integrate this. Like, we needed you as almost a lived example,
Yep.
unfortunately, to be
Yeah.
able to understand all of this.
100%. I mean, and it's what's so funny is if I had known that going into it, I definitely would have just done things. It's like I look back and I think I would have done things differently, right? But like,
Yeah.
easy to say, hindsight 2020. But now knowing this as literally a part of the blueprint I'm here to walk as a pioneer in this way, it's like
Mm.
I I had to. I had to do this. And now I can talk about it. Also, now I can talk about the what I experienced and the knowledge I gained
Yeah.
in the way it deserves to be spoken about, right? Because otherwise it's just what's the point in experiencing something like this if I'm just going to be a balloon floating off being like, okay, here's the deal, and like no one's going to be able to hear me. And so like that's
Yeah.
not what I'm here for. So that's I love how you just articulated that because I think that's at the crux of all of this is that we're here to be human. We're here to be in these bodies, and there will come a point where we are living off planet. More people will be living off planet. It's not right now. And the quantum technology that I thought I was going to be using is in fact YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So,
And we're here.
and we're here, baby. We're
I
back.
love it. I love it. And you know
But
what's so funny? Oh,
yeah,
go on. No, you go.
I was just going to say, I just wanted to circle back to you taking space in the fall, just because I feel like this is important to highlight as more people lose people in their lives and
Mhm.
deepen into a lot of like the spiritual awakening. Like the we're learning this information and it's really hard to talk about with
Yeah.
people who don't get it. And
Yeah.
I think that was such a perfect example of how you can meet someone. And I'm getting so many chills right now, like how you can show up for someone and meet them where they are with love and still remain boundaried. Like you were like, I just need space to process this. And I was like, okay, take all this,
Yeah.
like take all the space you need. And that was that. And then
Mhm.
we come together, we come back together so naturally and we can like
Yes,
talk about it, right? Like that's how this is supposed to work.
and you know what? That's happening on a really large scale right now with people in the files or left versus right, even though it's so beyond that, and that's for another
Yeah.
conversation. But the fact that even people are waking up to, oh my God, I was so programmed down this. Now I'm
Yeah.
seeing that there could be another side and that this is all, there is no sides, right? Like it's slowly happening, and parents are slowly reaching out to their kids and validating them. And my husband is like, oh my God, you were right. Like your conspiracy theorists were like, you weren't wrong. So it's like,
Yeah.
not only is it going to be happening for people like you and I who know things maybe over here, it's happening on this
Uh-huh.
level as well. Like it's this domino that eventually all of us are going to move in together, and it's going to be really beautiful.
Oh my God, I love that. And that's that's exactly it. I mean, it's being able to say, you know what? There is more going on here than I thought. And it's not my fault that I didn't see this before. Right. Like I think that's the biggest thing is we
Mhm.
tend
The
to
shame.
people will yeah, like and we'll beat ourselves up over it. And we'll be like, how did I not see that? Or we'll just say, I can't accept this because I can't figure out a way to reframe my entire reality.
Reality.
Right. And seriously, like the whole thing.
The
And
whole
I mean,
system.
that's I've had to do that like like a spin cycle of laundry with like
Yeah.
these beliefs. Like even the way I spoke about Trump earlier in this
Yeah,
time,
100%.
never thought I would hear myself say, "Oh, he's actually a part of this in a good way." Now, a lot of the other stuff I don't I don't agree with, but just speaking very bluntly, it's like, yeah, and I had this stance on the COVID vaccine, and now I have a different stance, and maybe that'll change again at some point. I don't know. I think it's important to give ourselves permission to just constantly be evolving in all of this as we receive new information.
Which is a form of real leadership, acknowledging
Yeah.
when you maybe were wrong, accepting it and growing from it.
Yeah,
And that is how we respect each other, honestly. Who no one wants
totally.
to relate to someone who's perfect all the time because then they don't go through experiences. And that's not the human. Like we are going to go through the earth school of having hard times and
Yeah.
changing. And I keep thinking about um, other cultures who are very, very steeped in like religion and coming
Hmm.
out with the Pope and the cardinals who have been the biggest illusion of harming children. Like
Yeah.
it's not just America. I think because we live here, we have the American oligarchs that we're
Hmm.
witnessing. But I really also am expanding like this is world fucking wide that
It's
this is
worldwide.
going to be like
Mhm.
for so many people.
It is. It is in a huge way. And I think I love that you're able to speak about this in terms of like down here, like even on this level, on this, well, I don't want to, it's not hierarchical, but like somebody over here, right? Like this ring of the tree,
Yeah.
they're able to start having these conversations and saying like there's some more going on. And I'm currently witnessing that actually with my dad, for example, you know, and he
Oh,
hasn't, he's not there yet. But he's in the
percolating.
denial stage right now because he's like, you're telling me, he actually like kind of got like angry about it at me, but really it's not at me, it's just being projected, because he's like, you're telling me that there's an entire network, an entire global system of evil people who want to traffic humans. And I was like, yeah. And I know it sucks, and and yes, I am. And I think he had trouble reconciling because he works in the legal system, so for him to be like, what system have I been working for? Like so I think there's a lot of
Mhm.
reconciliation going on, like you said earlier, but it is like the stages of grief. And I think we need to
That's
acknowledge that. Like this is a
collective grief.
collective grief.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what I was trying to tell my husband because Marston and my husband have the exact same birth chart, you guys. It's fucking weird. Which makes sense. But
I
anyways,
love that.
he's a Sag. So like I'm telling him he's accepted this pretty easily, right? And he's like, "Well, this all makes sense." And I'm like, "To you. You are accepting this and also you've had me yapping in your ear for 5 years about
Yeah.
this. Like you've had not only like a warming up period, you also have an energy of like, "Oh, that would make sense." A lot of people, back to what we were saying earlier, does not like your dad. He has that framework. He probably has that rigid structure, logic. And so to shed light, ooh,
Uh-huh.
the masculine, to really kind of bring in the feminine and the intuitive and the processing and the pain and the grief, like that's going to be really hard because we as a collective have never been taught how to process emotions ever.
We haven't. We haven't. And we only know, God, that's such a good point. We got to talk more about that later, on a different call at some point. But the grief component, we've never been taught how to process like grief, or what grief even is. We
What is it?
think that it's just like when somebody dies. We don't really ever acknowledge or talk about the profound level of grief that accompanies, like a friend leaving your life, or um, you needing to see things from a different perspective, and let go of an identity that you created for yourself. Like we don't talk about those,
Mm-mm.
the more subtle versions of grief, because that's really what we're experiencing now. And we were never taught that, like, oh, what do you do if you find out you've been lied to your whole life, like in a really big way.
And the funny thing is, how people teach grief back in the day was the
Yeah.
stages of grief, and it was linear. And we know it's not linear.
Linear. Bingo.
It's you
Yes.
bounce, you have anger, you have sadness, you have acceptance, now you're back to anger and you have pleading. And like, this is what we have to normalize is you could feel okay for a few months and you can jump right back to anger. And that's okay.
Totally. It's
Okay.
I think about it like, whoa, I think about it like spatially, like time. We experience time linearly, just like
Mhm.
we do experience grief linearly. In terms of, we experience one feeling or emotion, and then the next week we experience a different emotion, and we might feel like we're moving backwards because it doesn't make sense in our head that we're experiencing it moment to moment, right? But
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense because it's not actually linearly, and it's spatial. It's like a map. Like like you said, you're in anger, you're in sadness, you're in pleading. It's like you're in Italy one day, now you're in the States, now you have a completely different scenery that you're looking at. Now you are talking to people where you don't understand the language or the culture, and everything feels scary. Like it's like going to all these different places in your psyche that we were never taught about. So I
Yeah.
love that. It's such an important
Yeah.
conversation.
Which we will continue to talk about. So I guess we're gonna have to wrap soon. I feel like
Yeah.
today really encompassed everything we wanted to chat about. We got to it.
Everything. I love
There's
it.
so much that Marston and I are actively talking about on our individual channels, in our individual work, that all loops back to what we talked about today. Whether we're looking at the files, whether we're looking at religion, whether we're looking at intergalactic living and aliens, like it is all prepping us, webbing the web to create this new world down here. And we
Mhm.
are just really excited to support so many people because that's what our clients are coming to us for, of asking what is their
Yeah.
purpose, figuring out their intuition, healing their trauma. And it's really cool for Marston and I to have people weekly have this same exact statement to us. Like it is just being mirrored. And that's
It's
why we're
insane.
so confident in like what's happening right now, because we're witnesses to this new paradigm. It's fucking cool.
It's absolutely amazing, and I'm so grateful to be on it, on the ride with you and with everyone who is a part of this, because we all have an important role to play in this, and help us help you. You know, how do we amplify each other? So, oh, so
Absolutely.
excited for more to come.
Yes, and just so you guys know, if you wanna learn astrology, I have At Your Own Pace astrology course. You will literally learn everything about your birth chart, and I do monthly study sessions for that. So once you buy it, you can come to the monthly study sessions, or you can get a birth chart reading or one-on-one work with me in a coaching container. Just wanna plug that at thelunarchild.com. Marston, what do you have available?
Amazing. Yes, thebridgingcatalyst.com. It's also available in my bio. I actually just released a quiz that will tell you how to discern your own thoughts from higher guidance and how you receive
Mm,
inner higher guidance, because that seems to be a very common thread that comes up in my client sessions. So you can take that quiz if you want. I also am offering one-on-one client sessions as well as ongoing client work, and mentorship. And then I'm building out that community based platform where I'll have my courses available and workshops, master classes, as well as monthly live channeling calls. And you can submit for a live reading on those calls.
yeah, I'm
Super
so
excited.
excited for our communities to
Yes.
continue to build and to grow, and so much fun things coming. Um, How there are a few question or one question. How do we respect and support those in our lives that find out the truth and go through their own process? To be honest, I think my initial reaction to that is allowing them space to process if you can. I have this deep belief that there are specific practitioners like myself, probably like Marston, I'm going to speak for her on this, that like we can hold space for people who have a lot of shame and guilt and whatnot. And this is looped into the programming of their identities, where there are certain practitioners that it would be harmful to go to and process that with. I
Yeah.
think that there's a lot of people here that you find people who can hold space for that identity, because at the end of the day, our ego is real. It will put us in boxes. We do have our own trauma, we have collective trauma. And so I think helping them be like, it's okay. But if you can't process it with them, send them to someone who can professionally literally help them, is my biggest thing. And that everyone's on their own timeline and just allow.
Yeah. I would totally echo that. I completely agree with you. And I think the number one thing you can really do at the end of the day is just let them know that you're there. You know, you see them, you hear them, you went through it, you know how it is, but also remain boundaried in yourself. Remain sovereign with that. Put up the boundaries where you need them. You can't heal the entire world all at once. You have to remain boundaried in yourself first. And I think creating those healthy boundaries is really something that keeps coming in for me to say. So so anyway, yes, I would echo all of your sentiments. Thank you.
Amazing. Well, we will be live for sure March 21st.
Hmm.
And we'll have that on our YouTube so you can subscribe to it so you get a notification and a reminder. And then as things happen in the collective, we will probably be doing just like one-off lives. It's just we both have so much
Yeah.
going on in our business that we want to commit to once a month with
Yes.
you guys. So come join, chat, ask questions, and then we will see you potentially sooner, potentially not. Who knows?